Again, culture will eat strategy for breakfast. If I'm to get a coin for how many times I've said that, I'll be a billionaire probably by now. So it's a multifaceted problem, and I want to take them in many dimensions. Number one, yes, Peter Obi says P.V.C is important. I think it's not as important as electoral reform. And I'd like to repeat here that if we don't get electoral reforms passed, make IREF justiciable, make the use of beavers, make all the technology that will make elections safe, all right? And be able to look at the electoral laws in such a way that as we speak today, do you know that if there's any infraction, like certificate palaver against an opponent, once the opponent passed the primaries of his party, other political parties cannot sue him based on it. It has to be the people that he contested in the primary with. Once you don't change those laws and get a holistic electoral reform, forget 2027. I will be here after the elections and I will remind you that I said it. Record today's dates down.
It is very, very obvious that getting into Vila comes 2027 is just like a horse passing through the needle. Oh yes. Now, let's look at this way.
I would like a case where we have a proper vetting process that includes the criminal records of anybody that want to vie for presidency. It's not about collecting money from them. An independent panel that will be able to screen based on their criminal records and antecedents.
What Rufai is saying is correct. Yes. If the opposition wants to get into power, fight for electoral reform. Oh yes. It's not going to be easy, but that is the shortest route. Not the P.V.C calling Nigerians to go and get P.V.C. Getting P.V.C is good, is one-way traffic, it's just one-way traffic. But getting the P.V.C as well as getting the electoral reform done before the election is for the betterment of Nigerians. So, let's watch again.
So we'll be joking, number one. Number two, we talk about money in politics. How are we not going to have money in politics? See, people that are being given bribe of 20,000 naira to vote for them, in fact, they are being cheated. In this last election, I got empirical facts that they gave some people 20,000. The people that were sharing the money gave the people 10,000. So they even cut the money in half. So cheater, they cheat cheater. They are all cheating them. So it's a value chain of cheating. And the voters too, that go to like 2, 3, or 4 different political and collect the same money. At the end of the day, what do you collect? You collect less than 50,000 on election day. That 50,000, maybe you cook your pot of soup for a couple of times. It's all over. Then you have to deal with someone that is so corrupt that will steal times 10 of the money he has given you. So in the value chain, you that collected the money are the biggest fool. Because you are being cheated. It's not the amount that the politician release that gets to you in the end. How do you want elections to be saying where till today INEC has not ever implemented the laws as regards how much you can spend per election? All political parties have crossed that spending threshold one way or the other. Has INEC been able to implement and bring them to book? No. How will you want to remove money from election where the barrier to getting a party ticket for presidential election is over 100 million? Yeah. So I would like to propose some solutions. You can see I'm very radical. If we truly want sanity, money should not be involved. But the political parties will argue and say, Rufai, no, there must be money involved. How are we going to run the elections? The money will take ways to run the election. Fine. Like it's the political party that put money down. In the end, it's the funders that put money down. Please. So when they say we have to run the election, it's not true. Because it was when we started fighting with the PDP that we know that the same money that they collected for primaries was siphoned. And he said those things. So it's an holistic reform we have. But the quickest way, apart from P.V.C, is the electoral reform. If you don't fix those electoral reform and judicial reform, because even when you fix electoral reform, when you get to the judiciary, it's another one. If you don't fix those two, electoral reforms, and you're wasting your time. The 2027 election might even be worse than the 2023 election.
Peter Obi or any other opposition vying for the seat of the president, vying for the office of the governor, vying for the seat of either a senator or House of Rep member or what have you, all we need is an electoral reform. Oh yes. There have been so many conversations around this electoral reform. For example, we saw in 2023 election where the transmission of results from the polling units to the central server, we saw that they switch off, the lights. When the game was, getting hotter, they switch off the lights by offing whatever they off that made it very difficult for the presidential result to be transmitted. Now, in 2027, it's going to be worse, just like Rufai have said earlier, that if these people are ready, talking about the opposition, all you need to do is to fight for this electoral reform, at least try. And Tinubu should have done better by making sure that he leave this legacy in his first tenure, that he was able to achieve an electoral reform before the election. What the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, could not achieve, he's able to achieve it in 4 years, not minding whether he wins or not. Like I've said in my previous videos, I've always maintained the fact that Nigerians are not pushing for this electoral reform is the more reason why we should understand that those in office are ready to hijack the election any day, anytime. Looking at the fact that the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, was, able to do some little, things before he left office in 2023, of which we all wanted him to enact those reforms and make them come to life. In 2018, he refused to do it and wait until 2023, and then he did something, but was not concrete. And what Nigerians are saying is that if Tinubu, like I've said in my previous video, decide to achieve this electoral reform within the next 2 years in his office and change the economy within the next 2 years in office, I can bet you that he have a very good chance of returning back to office in 2027. It doesn't matter what happened to, whatever the opposition is saying. As long as he's able to get it right within the next 2 years, gullible Nigerians will forget about the pains of the last 2 years and vote him in again for another Shegebanza for another 4 years. Now, because we all know and I see how this works, if you look at Buhari in 2015, when he get into power, he did everything he could to victimize and to persecute the previous government, right? And in all of that, the economy was not really bad, because we saw the economy of Nigeria, which was around $500 billion US as of the time Buhari took over. But by 2018 to 2019, when things begin to go bad a bit, we saw what happened. They do this market money and all of those things. And what happened? After they came back into power, from 2019 to dates, 2023, we all saw what happened. So it is not about them getting some few things right and then you entrust your life to them. Okay, fine, you've gotten it right? No wahala. Step aside. Let another person come in and take over from there, and continue building on the one that you have done right, and then change totally the one that you've not gotten right. So Peter Obi and every other opposition party or member trying or vying for any political position in 2027 should look at the electoral reform. Without that, getting P.V.C. alone will not get you to office. Let's have this conversation in the comment section. Thank you for watching.